Huzzah. Well, right, so let's look at transfers. And for that, what we need to do is to go on to, bear with me, to go on to there, and then from there we can share on Twitter. Let's share it on Twitter to see. And then we can share on Twitter. Let's share it on Twitter to see. And then we can share on Twitter. Let's share it on Twitter to see. And then we can share on Twitter. Let's share it on Twitter to see. And then we can share on Twitter. Let's share it on Twitter to see. And then we can share on Twitter. Let's share it on Twitter to see. And then we can share on Twitter. Let's share it on Twitter to see. And then we can share on Twitter. Let's share it on Twitter. I think the best way to do this is we will look at. I think the best way we've been linked with the rumours that are going around at the moment. Obviously, we're going to use Transfer Market just because it will be slightly easier for all of that side of things at the moment, and then we'll look at some firms transfers to go into a bit more depth of that side of things and go from there. Transfers, just so I can go into a bit more depth of that side of things and go from there. Transfers, just so I can go into a bit more depth of that side of things and go from there. Oh, that was confusing. Right. So from what I was saying is we're going to go on Transfer Market, we're going to look at transfer rumours, and then we're going to see who is available and who is not. I'm not sure what's going on with this. It's the first time I've streamed in a long time, so hopefully it's not too terrible. It says I've dropped frames, but I don't think I have. Let's look at this. There's two that we've been linked with for some time. And the assessment that they're giving them 59% and 50%. Now, at the two, I think I would prefer Conor Gallagher. I do know him as a player. I've seen him in the Premier League, been able to do it. And obviously, when you look at the ages, he's also one for the future. So let's look at the guy who I'm not too sure about at the moment, Hans van Aken. Belgian attacking midfielder. I know that much. Currently playing for, I don't know, Club Bruges, is it? That he's playing for? Yeah, it is Club Bruges. He's been there for a while. Is he someone I would want? He doesn't look like he's done loads, if I'm honest with you. Let's look at some stats for him for all seasons. So the 30-year-old attacking midfielder, he's only a little bit older than me, if I'm totally honest. He's only just turned 30 as well, but do we need another ageing player? No, I don't think so. So he played as an attacking midfielder, 250 odd games, central midfielder, 130 games, and he's filled in a little bit elsewhere. I would say he's probably, when you look at it, as a central midfielder, he's performed better. But say this season, 1 goal, 1 assist in 6 games in the Jupiler Pro League. Last year, so he was in a playoff last year. 9 goals and 9 assists last year, 33 appearances, 8 and 7. But it is the Jupiler Pro League, which is not all that, is it? Come on, let's be honest. So we do need to think about these sorts of things. If we got him, it's another string to the bow, so to speak. It's another body that we can use. The Jupiler Pro League and Club Bruges have got the biggest squad, so they're probably after getting rid of him. They did finish second. I don't know what the current league table is like. 22, 23. Let's have a look, shall we? So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want him necessarily to be coming to us. Still a big squad of 31 players, 20 foreigners. I don't really know what help that is. But, yeah, if we get him, I don't know much about him, if I'm totally honest. He's not someone I really want through the door. Who I'd be more after is Mr. Conor Gallagher, who did receive a red card, so he will be booked for missing the next game in the Premier League. Or has he already done that because of midweek fixtures? I don't know. Phenomenal for Crystal Palace last year. Obviously, looks like there's... If we throw our name in the hat, we're the more appealing club than Crystal Palace at the moment. Partly because we've got some form of European football. So, obviously, he would fit the homegrown side of things. He would be the sort of player that we do want to get through the door. Doesn't stop running, plays forward, he's very progressive. Played 4 times this season allegedly in the Premier League, 97 minutes in total, and got 2 yellows, which is not ideal. Obviously, he has represented England in 1 game. Excuse me, I'm parched. But yeah, he's not had the best of times, but neither of Chelsea at the moment. He must be playing because it says that he's got 28 minutes. So he missed the Southampton squad, but he's playing currently, unless that was. I'm getting confused with the fixtures. No. So he missed. That's the game. The game against Leicester where he got sent off. He wasn't in the squad for that one, so he is now available for the next game. Obviously, when we look at his stats for overall balance, let's have a look, shall we? When we look at his stats, ideally, 10 goals in the Premier League, 5 assists, 68 games. So it's not the most prolific, but 45 goals. So he's getting there, but it's the assists that we want. So he's not afraid of a tackle. We can see that. But 87 times in central midfield, 52 times defensive midfield, 33. So again, that central spine of the team, and you can fill in elsewhere. This is one I want, and it's been rumoured from what I've heard to be somewhere around £30 million. Don't know how accurate that is or what is being rumoured on transfer market, but that's what the story's been saying. If he's going to leave Chelsea, it's going to be for around £30 million. There you go. They're putting his market value at 27.5. So £30 million wouldn't be that far away. It wouldn't be a bad shout either, I don't think. But yeah, it's one of those that's who I'd want. Now, I've never heard of this guy. It says the 29. I'm not even going to look at them. One of these two, I think, is coming through the door today, and that's where we're gonna end up. So, I mean, so far on deadline day, who have we brought in? Transfers. Current season's transfer. I know there was a rumour about Newcastle trying to sign Harrison Ashby. I've not seen anything else on that yet. Hopefully he doesn't go, because I would like him in the squad. So we did get rid of Crown. That didn't really work out the way we all wanted. But he's gone back to Sparta Moscow on from his loan. Areola we got rid of on loan, but bought him back. But we'll get to that in a minute. David Martin, obviously, he left on the free. It's the end of his contract. Played well, but at 36, he's not a phenomenal keeper. He's not the worst keeper, but we didn't need him in the squad. Mark Noble obviously retired. Nathan Trott has gone out on loan to Vijay. This is a player that I want to see in the squad somewhere. I would like to see him in the squad somewhere at some point. I've been a fan of him for a long time, but you think getting to 23 as a goalkeeper, I know they play for longer than most, but he needs to start making a dent somewhere. Otherwise, we're going to see the back of him. Masuaku left on loan to Besiktas. Vlasic has gone to Torino. Fredericks has gone on a free, and that's why that Bournemouth got beat 9-0. Andrei Yarmolenko left on a free. Never really. He had moments, didn't he? He had moments of brilliance, but never really did it. And the only one that has gone, it's about £17 million that Issa Diop went. And again, when Mourinho was in charge of Manchester United, apparently there was a £50 million bid. The second season we had him, we turned it down because he had so much potential. 3 years later, he's not really realised that potential. He's not turned into the sort of player that he had the promise of being. Part of that will be on the West Ham coaching staff and the amount of changes in. I think we had Bilic, we had Moyes, then Pellegrini, then Moyes again. There's a lot of changes in that time since he's been at the club, and some bad seasons, some good seasons. But yeah, he's not really had a partner. He never really played all the games. Was one that never was. But say Nathan Trott, I don't know why he's incoming. Areola we signed from PSG. Phenomenal signing for £10 million. Although this is in dollars, so it's probably a bit less than that. From PSG, 29 years old, was good for us in the Cups last year. I thought he was going to end up playing sort of number one. I think he will do next season, or if Fabianski has a bit of blip in form. This is the man that's going to take over. Flynn Dowes is one of those who I was pleased that we signed. When we signed him, it was a little bit out of left field. Apparently he's a West Ham fan. Best passing accuracy in the top 5 leagues. Last year, I think it was like 98% passing accuracy. And seemingly that was a bold signing. From what I've heard from David Moyes, he's not impressed. It doesn't fit into the system. So it's one of them that he should have been in the squad. He could be in the squad. Possibly one for the future. He's still only 23. So he has got time. It was a 5-year contract, I believe. So that would be good if it does come off. But whether it does or not, I don't know. Who else did we sign? We have then signed, obviously, Kaya. Mixed bag at the moment. He is playing well, I believe. He's playing well, but is also... Sorry, hang on. He is also susceptible to a mistake. The goal against Tottenham was an own goal by him. I wouldn't have said that was necessarily his fault, but he's not match fit. He's not played a lot of PSG. Obviously, he's been training with Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. So he's picked up some bits and pieces, I would imagine. One that I think we've overpaid for, Emerson Palmieri. Now, decent player, granted. 28 years old, so he has got a few years left in him. Left back, so he's cover for Cresswell. He's never really impressed in the Premier League. He's been out on loan a few times from Chelsea, isn't he? Where has he been most recently? So he was at Lyon last year, which is fine. Chelsea bought him from Roma in 17-18, and he's not really done anything since. So it's a little bit difficult to be able to judge him because he's not really played that much football. We signed him for, what's that, 15 million quid? With on a 4-year deal with the option of a further year. So it has the ability to be able to change his fortunes. He's played it a bit part at the moment, but I think that's an overpayment for that player. And we've spent a lot this window, and we need to make sure that the players that we've bought, which is what Mate Moyes is doing, are buying into the system. Now, he is very picky. That's why we didn't get anyone in January, allegedly. He's signed all these players, and he's not playing them. Which is, Cahill is the only one who's playing at the moment. But yeah, so it's difficult. I know you can't just chuck people straight in. They need to know what the game plan is and how we want to play. But you've got to give them some game time. You can't hold on to them for a year and then eke him into the squad slowly like I did with Benrahma and Bowen. That's not what we want to see. We want to see some of these players in the squad. There are players that we've signed that are clearly better than those already in the squad, yet we're not playing them. Maxwell Cornet. We signed his release fee. I think that was £17 million. I did do a video on it, but with some highlights. But the French league copyright claimed it, even though there's videos of it everywhere. So that's no longer there. So some of you did something. A good 70 people see it before they did that. But hey ho, is what it is. Max Cornet, he was at Burnley last year. Did do very well. Has played at left wing, striker, left back, right wing. So versatile player. Let's have a look at him, shall we? In a bit more detail. This is a man who I thought was going to keep Fornals off that left wing. He was going to keep Benrahma potentially off that left wing, but he's not been given really a chance yet. So if we look at his stats for all seasons, eventually it will load. So we can see he's played 61 games in his career at left wing, 56 at right wing, both scoring lots of goals and lots of assists, 34 at left back, 33 at centre forward, left midfield, right midfield, so that's sort of left wing, right wing, and as a second striker in the middle, he's played one game. He will do well for us. He will. That's just a matter of time. He will score goals. But, a bit like Benrahma, David Moyes has to let him play with a little bit of freedom. We've seen that from Benrahma at the minute, and he's playing very well. We need to see Maxwell Cornet playing with a little bit of freedom, and being able to just use that flair, use that pace to go past people, and he will score. But he's played two. You look there. He's come on 2 substitute appearances, 10 minutes each, roughly. He's played in the 2 UEFA Conference League qualifiers against Freiburg. Got 2 assists in both of them. So it's there, and he linked up for both of those with Scamacca, I believe. So he will get assists. He will get goals. Nayef Aguerd, we paid £30 million for this guy. Played him in pre-season, and his first game in pre-season, he got injured by fucking Rangers. The Moroccan fella, never heard of him before. All of a sudden, we've signed him for £30 million. 9 goals in 91 in League One. You could say it's a Farmers League, but let's not get into that, eh? So with him, it's an unknown, isn't it? It's a 5-year contract, I think. What's that? 22 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. Yeah, 5-year contract. So hopefully he comes back from injury and does really well for us. 25 caps from Morocco there. So he's an international. He knows what he's doing. He's a big lump. Got a few years in him, but hopefully he keeps up obviously some good form, which is why we signed him. And now the one that we have all been excited about, Gianluca Scamacca. Signed him for 35 million from Sassuolo. Has scored all his goals from in the box with his right foot mostly. I think phenomenal signing for us. It gives, again, another 5-year contract with the option of an extra year. When we look at his stats, 16 goals in 36 games. I think he was like 5th top scorer in the Serie A last year. So he will get goals. That's a certain. He provides that competition to Michail Antonio, which is fantastic because that's what he needed. I'm sure Antonio will welcome the competition because it will help him become better. And the reason I say it will help him become better is because he needs He needs someone to challenge him and to bounce off of. So he's doing that. Right. I thought this was going to give me... So penalty, right foot shot, header. What are we looking at here? When was this from? Transfer Market is a brilliant website, right? But let's look at last season, shall we? It's a brilliant website, but sometimes it's a little bit chaotic. So all of these, right-footed shot, right-footed shot, right-footed shot, one, two, three headers, a tap-in, one direct free kick, and a penalty. So most of them are right-footed shots from within the box. I know that much, which is fantastic because we need someone to be in the box scoring goals. But he's not being played. He missed the game against Tottenham because he was ill. We need him to be playing more regularly. I think my viewpoint on it is Antonio is our top goal scorer. He has done very, very well for himself. He has carried the team for a long time playing in a position that's not natural to him. But maybe it's time to step aside. We need to play Scamacca from minute 1, put in the crosses to him, put in the balls in the box, and then as the games get later, bring on Michail Antonio, either to complement and play with Scamacca, or replace him, so that the teams that we're playing are getting tired, and he can use his pace and his strength to bully defenders. He bullies defenders when they're like fully fit and raring to go. So we need Antonio to be doing that when they're tired, and he will end up with more goals. The biggest trouble with Antonio is he hasn't got that striker's instinct. He hasn't got that natural born sort of killer, that shark mentality of I know where the goal is and I'm going to score. And then this man, Lucas Paqueta, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I think looking at him, when they said it was a club record signing, I think he can go up to £51 million in its entirety. When we signed him, and I was a bit like, okay, I've heard of him. He seems like a half-decent player. He's got a lot of years ahead of him. But then he come on against Tottenham, and he was raring to go. Hadn't trained with the team. So he could have scored. It looked like Emerson was going to strike the ball, but he jumped over it and left it. But that's something that we need to be able to work on. That I'm sure they will. The team will work on in training to get the best out of these players. Their communication, that sort of sense of where everyone else is and what they're doing without having to say anything on the pitch. Another 5-year contract with the option of a 6th by the club, which is fantastic. Last season he played for Lyon, played against us obviously in the Europa League semi-final. And he scored a few goals as well. Once this loads, the internet's been a bit slow today, but we will get there eventually. So yes, 9 goals, 6 assists last year for Lyon, 2, and that was in League 1, 2 and 1 respectively in 9 games in the Europa League. Has played for AC Milan, so he has been playing at the top level. He's got 80 appearances for Lyon, 65 for Flamengo in Brazil, 44 for AC Milan. So he's done all right for himself, do you know? Obviously 18 goals in total, 67 appearances. Hopefully he will top that. He'll get up to the 100 appearances really quickly for us. I mean, if we get to the final of everything, he could play for that. But this is the interesting thing, is he's an attacking midfielder, so that role that Lanzini's filled in for, Ben Rama's played in at the minute, and doing really well. Fornals played there. He's going to be that linking man. I think we need to change up our formation slightly, put one central midfielder in or central defensive midfielder in, and that would be Declan Rice for me. It would be. He's been phenomenal for us, and he drove us forward last year. But his position is a central defensive midfielder. So I'm not saying ban him from running forward, but he's the ultimate sweeper, isn't he? Put him there, and I would put Paqueta in front of him, and I would put either Flynn Dowes there for his passing ability, Ben Rama at the minute for his ability to be able to pick up a ball and run with it. and I'll play them in front of him and be a little bit more attack-minded. Let them players go, because if they both push forward as well as the wingers and Scamacca or Antonio, overload defences. If it all goes a little bit wrong, you've still got, obviously, Zuma and Kaya at the minute staying back. And you've also got Declan Rice sitting sort of just before them as well. So you always got 3 back slightly to cover that defence. But yeah, this guy, if he plays like he played against Tottenham, he will end up with goals without any problem whatsoever. And he will get lots of assists. What we need to do is be able to push forward a lot and play on the front foot more than we have been. And I think all West Ham fans can agree to that. We didn't get the result against Tottenham. We should have done. We should have won that game. But it just didn't happen. Same as Nottingham Forest. We were banging on the door, but no one was home. But yeah, overall, $200 million, because it's an American website. $200 million spent. Phenomenal spend from the board. Have to say that anyone who says different this year is an idiot. That they have backed David Moyes. He said so in all of his interviews. They tried to back him in January, but it was him that put sort of the kibosh on it. But yeah, hopefully we can push forward and go there. So potential outs. Let's look at this. Obviously, none of these. Darren Randolph, I would get rid of him. He doesn't play. We brought him back in. He wasn't good enough the first time, which is why we got rid of him. And we brought him back for who knows what reason. We should have Nathan Trott filling that spot as the third keeper, the backup, playing with Lucas Fabianski, Areola, drawing information from those 2 players. Okay, he's not playing, he's not sharpening his skills on the pitch, but he's drawing information from 2 quality keepers who've played everywhere, played with the best players, against the best players. Kurt Zouma, he's not going anywhere, although has not been at his very best this season. There's been a lot going on around Kurt Zouma, so hopefully that will all die down and he will be back to his very best, because I remember when Chelsea signed him, he was being sought after by everyone. Arsenal was after him, City was after him, United was after him, Juventus, Bayern Munich, they all tried to sign him. He went to Chelsea and never really got played. And then when he did, he was phenomenal. And then he had that, I don't know if anyone remembers that horrible injury that he had, where his knee bent all in, and it was just, it was sickening to watch. There was the scream from him, and yeah, he then went on loan to Everton, I believe it was. It might have been West Brom. Found a bit of fall, went back to Chelsea, couldn't quite break through. The first team come to us. And yeah, it was brilliant last season, although he kicked his cat. But yeah, it's what it is. Kaya, we've already discussed him. New signing in, good. Just needs a little bit of time to bed in. Agerd, again, I don't really know. Don't really know much about him. Not seen much of him play because obviously Rangers injured him. Craig Dawson, apparently I found this out the other day. Apparently he commutes from Manchester every day to play for West Ham, and it looks like he may be out the door at some point today. And I don't think I'm one of them, including me. I don't think there's anyone who would have been disappointed that he would be leaving the club potentially. I thought we potentially overpaid for him, and it's like, why have we brought this guy in? But phenomenal signing, a lot of heart. Tough as nails, and yeah, but has done us the justice, and he's brilliant. He's one of those guys you'd like to think like you'd like to go for a pint with. I bet he's got some stories. Do you know what I mean? Ogbonna got a 1-year contract extension because of that horrible injury last year. One thing we did figure out when he played Tottenham is that he cannot play left back, and why he was put at left back for a little while, or even for 5 minutes, I do not know. He's a centre back. My biggest concern is he had quite a horrible injury, and it was hard. It will be hard for him to get back to his very best. He's the wrong side of 30, and yeah, he would do a job. His positioning is phenomenal, but it's where he gets caught out. The speed of it, he won't be able to catch up with. Sort of the older statesman of our back line now. and hopefully he will guide some of those younger players, give them some advice on and off the pitch to be able to make them better. Emerson, again, we've discussed him earlier in the stream, has yet to give us anything to talk about. Hopefully he does sooner rather than later. Aaron Cresswell says there he's got a red card. I don't remember him getting a red card. No, he can't have a red card, surely. He come off injured, didn't he, against Tottenham? I don't think he got a red card. Aaron Cresswell, for me, has been a phenomenal servant for the club. He gets a lot of stick, a lot, but his final delivery is good. His defending is good. All round, he's a good player. His legs have started to go. He's 32, he's a left back. He's running up and down that pitch all the time. You can't expect him to play 50 games a year and be phenomenal in all of them. But for me, he's one of my favourite players in that squad. Since we signed him from Ipswich, I think it was. It's been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Soufal, again, one of those we signed. No one knew who he was. He was a bargain when we signed him. He's played really well. But he's not a long-term future, is he? He's 30 years old. He plays really well, then he plays really bad, and it's sort of, he's never really found that complete consistency of the Premier League. The thing that does it for him is his work rate. He's a warrior, but his work rate does it for him. So brilliant. Ben Johnson, again, cousin of Ledley King. If he can turn out to be half the defender, he was phenomenal. And people might be saying, well, Ledley King, he was Spurs. Yeah, but he was a phenomenal defender, hampered by injuries. Hopefully Ben Johnson isn't. But he's played, let's put it this way, he's played right back, he's played left back, he's played wide centre back, he's played centre back, he's played defensive midfield for us. For a 22-year-old bloke to be able to play all those positions, and not phenomenally, but he's done all right with them. I do think potentially, if he can surround himself with the right people and continue to get better, he will be our number one right back for going forward. Declan Rice. What can we say about Declan Rice? He is future England captain, current West Ham captain. He's 23 years old. Let's click on him. How many appearances has he now got for West Ham? Because that's the interesting thing. 23 years old. This guy has 5 appearances only. No, he doesn't. He has 32 appearances for England with two goals. Is that? He has. I know he's got over 100 appearances for us. But for a guy that was, oh my God, almost born in the year 2000, that makes me feel old. For 200 appearances for West Ham, at 23 years old, 200 appearances, that's phenomenal. 172 appearances in the Premier League. I think that's what really you have to take it from. So, 172 appearances, the 27... so it says 200, but it's not really, because the Premier League 2 counts for some of them, I think, or does it? I don't know. He's got 172 Premier League appearances at 23 years old. There's not many people who can say they have that. The biggest concern with him is keeping him. Obviously, we have the option of an extra year, which we should put in. We should be trying to say to him, look, I'm not being funny. Here's $200,000 a week, without question, possibly more. But yeah, we potentially with another 3 years with him, including this season. Depending on where we finish, I think he will go. I don't think anyone could moan that he does. If he does go, he's been phenomenal for us. He's given us everything, and yeah, providing that he does it with a bit of grace, I don't think there'll be any issue with him moving on. I think it will be a shame, but we will have to take it on the chin. You can't blame him for wanting to go on and win everything. Can West Ham do that? I don't know. I would hope so, but potentially not. Thomas Souček. Sorry, let's have a sip of drink, shall we? Thomas Souček scored against Tottenham. He's getting hard done by at the minute. He really is. He has scored a few goals for us. He's played really well. He sprints everywhere. He's a warrior. The biggest change in this man is that first season we had him, Declan Rice was playing the defensive midfielder and he was given free roam to run. No one really understood what he was about, and we were bombing balls into the box, which he got on the end of. Last season, he played more of the defensive midfielder. Declan Rice was given more of the option to roam and go forward, and he didn't score as many goals. He wasn't as effective in the box. Get off YouTube, you bearded monkey. That's nice, thank you, mate. But yeah, so he was not as effective as what he has been. But if Declan Rice starts playing that more defensive role, Souček starts running forward, getting into the box late, he will get goals. He will. He just will. Conor Coventry, a player who I've wanted to see for a long time, but hasn't really got minutes. Hopefully he will in the Conference League. I think potentially is someone who should be in and around the first team, should have been for a few years, but hasn't been. Flinders and Paqueta we have already gone over earlier in the video. Obviously Flinders, I don't think he will play much because David Moyes doesn't like him. Seemingly, don't know how true that is, but he doesn't like him. Pablo Fornals. What can I say about Pablo Fornals? I like him. Iniesta said he's the best. He's the next player who could replace me. Or Xavi said that about Iniesta a few years ago when we signed him. The year we signed him, he played in the Under-21s World Cup and was phenomenal, scoring goals left, right and centre. And then David Moyes proceeded to play him out of position completely for whatever reason. That destroyed his confidence and slowly he started to get back there. He's being played out on the left, but he is an attacking midfielder. So that's the bit that confuses me. People are slating him for not playing maybe as well as he should have done, but he's not being played in the right position. So how do you judge a player and say that? Lanzini, again, he had a phenomenal season when we had that man. Who was that man? Dimitri Payet. We only say his name very quietly. They linked up, had phenomenal seasons together, and never quite has found that form again. He did have an injury, and this is the thing. We had a bid for Fornals from Barcelona 2 years ago. We didn't accept it, and now we're slating him. Lanzini, Liverpool offered us £50 million 3 years ago, possibly 4. We didn't accept him. Now we're slating him. It's a hard world being a Premier League footballer, especially at West Ham. If you're not producing every week, then that it's really hard. But has the ability to change a game. He's a confidence player, but he's not a consistent player, and that's part of his issue. Said Benrahma, I named my dog after him. My missus found that out the other day, and she wasn't happy. But for me, phenomenal player. David Moyes needs to let him run at players and give him that freedom to use that skill. He hadn't, and he was getting annoyed, and that's why he wasn't playing him. And that's part of the problem he's had since he's joined us. This season, he's been allowed to run at defenders. He's been allowed to use that skill, and he's doing really well. Everything's coming through him. When we've been playing badly, Benrahma comes on, takes charge of the game, and it's changed the attitude on the pitch. Maxwell Cornet, again, and what I said, we're yet to see the best of him. Played against Freiburg, 2 games, 2 assists. Get him in the first team. Jared Bowen. I think he's going to have bruised legs, isn't he, after playing Tottenham? I mean, he took a right kicking. And, yeah, did really well for us last year. Really, really well. I was a bit concerned that Liverpool were going to come in for him if Salah had left, because I think he's that sort of player. He runs direct at people. He has got tricky feet, and he does know where the goal is. We've kept him. He's not in the best of forms, but I don't think that's down to him. I think that's down to the whole team not playing to our own strengths, not using that counter-attacking as we had been. But he's making opportunities. Couldn't unfortunately get it over the line against Tottenham, but we will get there eventually. Bloody hell, run out of breath. We need a smaller squad. Who said that? Scamacca, we discussed him earlier. Right foot merchant. got that ability to get a goal. We know that. We need to get him playing. We need to get the balls into him in the box. He will score goals. He's a big lump. He's young. He's enthusiastic, and he's the future for us. And Michail Antonio, as we discussed earlier, needs to play second fiddle really to Scamacca. He is at the all-time Premier League goal scorer for us, but he hasn't been challenged the last 2 seasons, so that makes it more difficult for him. So he will be one of those players that we need to play to his strengths. We need to play to his strengths, and we need to use him as that sort of super sub, so to speak. I don't see on here Harrison Ashby, which concerns me a little bit because that may be one that's gone. So let's look at Sky Sports and see what the latest is in terms of news. Zakara finishes his Chelsea medical, going on loan. Luiz to Arsenal. They've been trying to sign him. It's not happened. Brereton Diaz, someone we were linked with. He's staying at Blackburn. Fulham, Everton have tried to sign him, but it's not happening. Maitland-Niles gone to Southampton. Bit of a strange one for me. I think he's going to be one of those players who goes into obscurity in the end. Don't know who that is. Arthur Melo, he played at Barcelona at one point, I believe. Looks like he could be playing for Liverpool. Nottingham Forest going for their 20th signing, potentially. Michy Batshuayi. Do you remember we was linked with him a few years ago? Couldn't quite get that over the line. Player that's never really realised his potential in the Premier League. Bellerin had his Arsenal contract ripped up, and he signed Barcelona on a 1 year deal. Douglas Luiz, obviously Arsenal trying to sign him. Aston Villa's best player. What else? Rangers will get Billy Gilmore's. Interesting. Could be going to Brighton. What are we looking for? Then Donker, again, a player we were linked with, went to Wolves, now he's going to Aston Villa. Was that in preparation for Douglas Luiz leaving? I think so. Don't really have any more. There's nothing about... Is there anything about... Kate Lacar, this is what I see earlier as well. Looks like he's going to Southampton. So that will be an interesting one because we were linked with him in January and everyone was very excited that we were going to sign him. We couldn't get it over the line in January and he stayed at Marseille. But it looks like he could be going to Saints. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him. See, Wesley Fofana, £75 million deal. I think that's a little bit mad. Where's West Ham? Come on. Or Newcastle. I want to see some information about Harrison Ashby. Julian Draxler, do you remember him? He was a massive player. Bournemouth exploring. See, that would be a loss. That would be a good signing for Bournemouth, but a loss for Southampton because Nathan Redmond was phenomenal. Again, someone West Ham were linked with years ago. Oh my. There's not much else going on, really. It's quite a quiet deadline at the moment. Obviously, now we've only got 2.5 hours to go, or an hour and a half to go. Matty Longstaff, we all like Matty Longstaff. Gone to Colchester. Interesting. Long way down for him, but I think the better of the two Longstaff brothers, if I'm totally honest. He was brilliant. I do like him. He's a funny guy. Dubravka on going to Manchester United, I think is a strange deal because they have... Well, who do they have now? Because Romero went a couple of seasons ago. Henderson's out on loan. They've got the guy they signed from Southend, but again, not Premier League quality. So back up to De Gea maybe. Probably end up being number one. I think he's better than De Gea at the moment. Balotelli, that's a player we haven't heard in a while, has joined FC Sion. Didn't we sign Edmilson Fernandez from Sion? See, this is a bit sickening. Kate Lacar, 10 million deal. I think in January we was on something like 25 million. So interesting. Daniel James going to Fulham. This is a bit. We've been speaking about Harrison Ashby today, the young right back from West Ham, but the situation is complicated because Jan Bednarek, who West Ham hoped to sign, has gone to Aston Villa instead. When did we want Jan Bednarek? Some of the things that Sky Sports put up, I think, are total bollocks. But I hope Harrison Asprey stays. We've not seen anything since then. That was 4 hours ago. So, yeah, I don't think it's a case that we're going to see any more movement potentially tonight. The only one that may go in will be Conor Gallagher. But where he'll go, because he's got many, many options. And if that is done, I think it will be very, very last minute. Yeah, there is nothing apart from Maitland-Niles moving. Is there anything to say? Anthony's gone to Manchester United. Strange. Everton re-signed Idrissa Gana Gueye. Willian, apparently, former Arsenal and Chelsea player, is going to Fulham. Aubameyang back to Chelsea. That's a waste of money. Rumours. Let's have a look at the rumours, shall we? Oh, we're not on there. No, we are not. Nothing really is going on. Let's have a look at... I don't know if there is anything else really to add at this moment, because we have had a bid for Craig Dawson. Moyes wants him to stay. Bednarek is why. That's possibly why, to replace him. Well, I think that's because everyone thinks I'm in America. I'm not. I don't know if you can tell. I'm not American. But, yeah, there's not really anything else going on for West Ham. So we do take on Chelsea. There will be a video coming out on this channel and on FDT TV. Make sure you're subscribed to both of them. Yeah, hopefully we sign Conor Gallagher. That's one I would like to see. Coming in to us, but other than that, I can't see any other moves going on. But thank you for joining me. I am Ian the Bearded Hammer, and we'll see you very soon. Take care of yourself, and come on, you